I'll take the sofa. The storm hit harder than the forecast promised. By the time I reached the small mountain lodge, my jacket was drenched, my suitcase soaked through, and all I wanted was heat, silence, and a bed that didn't involve sharing oxygen with strangers. But the universe had other plans. "Sorry," the receptionist said, tapping the desk with a sympathy she'd probably perfected for moments exactly like this. "We have only one room left. And only one bed." Before I could process that, someone stepped up beside me, someone familiar. Her. The woman I'd met earlier that morning at the shuttle stop. The one with the warm laugh and the kindness that felt like sunshine breaking through November clouds. Maya. She glanced at the receptionist, then at me, then at the storm rattling the windows. "Well," she said with a little shrug, "only one bed left? Maybe it's big enough for both of us." I froze. She said it casually, jokingly, even kindly, but my brain short-circuited. And before she misunderstood the hesitation in my face, I lifted my hand. "I'll take the sofa," I blurted. Her eyebrows lifted. "What?" "No, I was kidding. You don't have to." "It's fine," I insisted. "You're cold, you're tired, the bed is yours. I'll be okay." I wasn't trying to be noble. I just didn't want her to feel awkward. She deserved comfort more than I did. But the way she looked at me, like she saw something deeper behind the offer, made me shift awkwardly. The room was small, warm, and smelled faintly of pine. She rubbed her hands together near the heater. I found a blanket and fluffed the lumpy sofa cushion, pretending it didn't feel like sitting on a bag of bricks. "You're really serious?" she asked. "Dead serious." Maya sat on the edge of the bed, tilting her head. "You know, most people would have argued. Or made it weird. Well, I'm not most people." She smiled, soft, thoughtful. An hour later, thunder shook the window. I was trying to read a magazine, failing miserably, when she spoke again. "You know, you didn't have to take the sofa." "I know." "Then why did you?" I sighed. Sometimes honesty slips out easier when the lights are dim and rain muffles the world. "Because earlier today, at the shuttle stop, you were the only one who talked to me. When everyone else was buried in their phones. You just asked if I was okay. And it mattered more than you know." She blinked, surprised. "You remembered that? How could I forget? You didn't even know me, and you were still kind." The room went quiet. Then she whispered, "Kindness shouldn't be rare." We stayed awake longer than either of us planned. Talking. Laughing. Sharing the kinds of stories people usually keep hidden under heavier storms. I learned she was traveling alone for the first time since her father passed. She learned I hadn't taken a real break from work in 3 years. At one point she said, "Maybe we needed this storm." I didn't disagree. Then came the twist. Around midnight, as lightning flashed across the ceiling, I heard her sniff quietly. "You okay?" I asked. She wiped her eyes quickly. "Yeah, sorry. Just. I didn't want to spend this weekend alone. Dad and I used to come here every winter. I booked this trip thinking it would help. Instead I arrived and felt empty." She swallowed hard. "And then I met you at the shuttle stop. And for the first time today, I didn't feel alone." Her voice softened. "You gave up the bed without hesitation, and you don't even know me." That kindness, it reminded me of him. The air in the room changed. Heavy. Tender. Meaningful. I moved to the edge of the sofa, careful but close enough for her to feel I was listening. "I'm glad I could be here," I said. Maya gave a teary smile. "You were exactly what I needed today." Then she stood, took the spare blanket, and placed it next to me. "Shift over," she said. "What? Why?" Because no one should sleep on that torture device pretending to be a sofa. And because I'm not letting someone who was kind to me freeze their back off. I'm fine, really. Move, she said, gently but firmly. I laughed despite myself. Her determination was impossible to argue with. We sat on the sofa, awkwardly at first, then comfortably as the storm softened outside. We talked until the rain faded into a soft hush. We didn't cuddle, or touch, or cross any boundaries. But something quiet and hopeful unfolded between us. Morning sunlight spilled across the room. She stretched, yawned, then looked at me with sleepy eyes. Hey, she whispered. Thanks for last night. For taking the sofa. For being decent. Being human. People forget how powerful that is. I smiled. You too. She tucked her hair behind her ear, hesitated, then added. So, maybe tomorrow, when the road opens, instead of going our separate ways, we could grab breakfast? I mean, we survived a storm together. That counts as a bonding experience, right? I chuckled. Pretty sure it does. Good, she said softly. Because meeting you, it made this trip feel less like a reminder of what I lost and more like a start of something new. In the end, the message was simple. A shared room. A storm. One bed. One sofa. And a stranger with a warm voice who didn't let the world make her cold. Sometimes kindness is the beginning of a story you didn't know you needed. Sometimes giving up the bed means gaining something much more meaningful. And sometimes, if you're lucky, the act of compassion you offer someone else becomes the moment that heals a piece of you too.